What's up, YouTube? Knight's Edge here again. Got another quick little overview for you. A pretty cool knife, man. This one was sent to me by a pass around group that I'm in, and Kelly's Mishmash. You guys should definitely go check her out. Let me see. I got her sticker floating around here somewhere. There it is. Took me a second. Kelly's Paracord. She does some pretty cool stuff. Her Etsy store is linked below. Our Etsy store, also her YouTube and eBay. She's got a store on eBay too. You can get a hold of her on Instagram, but she kind of manages the little pass around. So big shout out to her and thanks to her for kind of helping keep all this together and putting it together. Also, Gareth HB, big proponent for Pickled Steel. If you ever see him in the lives, he'll be linked down below too, Gareth HB, and as well as Pickled Steel, because you can't cut shit with a cucumber, right? All right, so they're out of Africa. They got a lot of South African design knives that are OEM on one level or another. This one is in fact OEM by I believe Remet. Maybe not, but I'm pretty sure it is OEM by Remet. So we'll go ahead and get into this one. This is the Pickled Steel Typhon. Typhon, not Typhoon, Typhon. Here's a note that came with it. Proto M390 titanium carbon fiber in production May June. It's not available right now that I can see anywhere. This is the D2 steel version right here. Green micarta, black micarta, carbon fiber. Says they're going to change it to a button operated liner lock. Jonathan Jacobs is the designer. So that's the info card that I got that came with it right there. We'll go ahead and do what we normally do, overall specs and whatnot. Tip of the blade into the handle, 8¼ inches. Overall blade length, you're looking at 8, or not 8, wow. Overall blade length, you're looking at 3¾ sharpened edge length, you are looking at, I'd say 3�3/8 right there. Kind of swoops up a little bit. All right, so definitely what I would say is a full-size pocket knife. Got the calibers out here. Thickest part of the spine, 158 thousandths. That's your thickest part of the spine. And it goes nice flat grind on it. It goes down to, let's see, we're looking at right around 16 thousandths behind the edge. So it gets pretty thin there. And your handle thickness on it, 560, I put that in the light a little bit, 568 thousandths is your handle thickness on it. Put the calibers up there. Let's go ahead and we'll do some size comparisons. Got your standards on the channel, Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and your Spyderco Para 3 right there up next to the Pickled Steel Typhon. Couple more. Let's see here. You got this one came from Help with Gadgets. Might have seen that in a lot of his size comparisons. Actually, that's your Cyber Blade, Kaiser Cyber Blade. Pretty neat little knife right there. This one came from Fred the Lug as the Gecko Customs Pictus. And let's put one in there that came from Lanyard Band, Stephen Weigel. That's the Herman Knives Ishtar. So a pretty good variety there for the size comparisons. I would say it's just a few of the ones that I had in right now. Let's go ahead and do what we always do with size comparisons. Hopefully you guys like it. Let me know in the comments. If you don't, that is the DeWalt frame and hammer and your 8-inch USA made crescent wrench. Gotta have that. I mean, what are you even doing? If you don't have that, size comparisons, you're on YouTube, what are you even doing, man? That is a roll of Scotch tape. All right. So let's go ahead and break out the scale. Let's see what she weighs. Kind of hefty, I would say. I haven't looked inside yet to determine if it's got internal milling or not. I would say, I don't know, 4 ounces. Wow, 4.7. Okay, I was way off there. 4.7 ounces. So definitely over 1.5 ounce ratio. Not as chunky as I thought originally. I don't know why, because I guess the lower weight. See how she carries in the pocket here. Get out the old faded blue jeans. Nice milled titanium pocket clip, is milled out for right-handed tip-up carry only, by the way. And let's see what she's looking like in the pocket. Pocket clip a little bit tight, but definitely by no means the worst pocket clip I've ever felt. Got a little bit sticking up, not deep carry, but also won't tear up the seam of your pants, so that's a good thing. M390 on the blade steel, by the way, and marbled carbon fiber on the handle materials, or titanium, I should say, titanium marbled carbon fiber. Hardware is anodized gold, and you got a nice little pivot collar right there too, right? So that's the that's all the details that I know of anyway, with the materials that it's made out of. So single-sided captive pivot looks pretty nice. Let's flip her over. I think she's a T8. Yeah, T8 right there. And ooh, T6. So everything else it's looking like as a T6. Yeah, T6 body and pocket clip. Yeah, pocket clips a T6 as well. So I wish they would have went T8 all the way. That would have been pretty cool, but you know, not really too big of a deal. Let's go ahead and get the flashlight. We'll check the internals here. All right, so no milling for weight reduction. Maybe that's why I was thinking it's heavier than it looks. So don't have any liners, anything like that. No milling for weight reduction inside. It is a plunge lock, as you can see. But they're from what the card's saying, there's going to be a button operated liner lock coming soon, which I think this one's just a prototype, so also bear that in mind. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get into ergonomics. It feels good, man. It actually surprised me a little bit. It does feel good. Behind that flipper tab, I am locked in with my thumb right there. Got a little bit of jimping right there. Maybe they could have put a little bit more up on the jimping, but that feels pretty nice. Pretty solid, pretty locked in. No hot spots as far as the pocket clip goes or anything like that. The spine, it's not contoured, but it's not super sharp. Going around the whole knife itself, right there's a little bit of a sharp spot, not super sharp. You know, it is still kind of flattened down a little bit, chamfered a little bit, but right there is still a little bit of a hot spot. As you can see right there, blade drops shut as soon as you hit the button, which is pretty cool. I don't know how secure the plunge lock is. I normally am not a big fan of plunge locks because they or to me have been one of the most insecure locking systems there is, which would be pretty cool if they swap over to the button actuated liner lock. Titanium on the back spacer, so that's pretty cool right there. Got a nice little insert for the lanyard. I like how they did that towards the end, towards the butt of it. You can put the lanyard in right there if you want, but it's also not an eyesore and it's not in the way at all. The action on it, not too bad. It can easily be failed, right? So that's very lightly. If you're holding it the wrong way, maybe, I don't know. But it's got enough of a break right there. Whenever you push that flipper tab down, it kind of breaks. Now, I wish they would have made the flipper a little more comfortable. They did put some jimp in there, that helps. But flipper tab could be a little bit more comfortable. So a couple of sharp, I'm wanting to say sharp, but not, you know, not super sharp edges. The T6s could be T8s. The edges aren't fully contoured, you know, which is kind of a bummer. I wish they were. Nice, beautiful, kind of a milled, or not milled, I was wanting to say weave, but like a marbled carbon fiber right there on those inlays. That's pretty nice. The whole thing all the way around just, you know, looks like a pretty cool knife. I wish they would have also maybe taken, you know, some of that billboard right there, Jonathan Jacobs, designer, Maker's Mark. That's understandable. M390, maybe they could have made that a little smaller, put it under here, inside the backspace or something like that. Typhon, I don't think we need the name of the model itself on there. Pickled Steel on this side's not too bad, you know. So as far as billboarding, I think they could have done a little bit better, but it's by far not the worst knife I've seen as far as billboarding goes. Overall, pretty solid. Above average, I would say, for the knife. Now it depends on the price, right? So if they price this out at like $300, man, they got a hell of a lot of competition, I would say, for $300. Now if they put it, you know, they can put this down there around 180, $200, you know, maybe even like 220, something like that, you know, then they're in the running, you know. But anything above, I would say maybe 215, 220 would be kind of crazy. Now you can get a USA made ProTech Mordax. It's a button operated, that's a plunge lock, flipper only plunge lock, much like this one, for $240. That's all USA made with Magna Cut, or actually with S45EN is what I got on mine. So just keep that in mind. Overall, not a bad knife at all. I'm looking forward to see what they're doing with the final version of it, so I don't want to be too harsh on a prototype. I think it's a good design. I like the blade shape. And I kind of dig those inlays right there. So let me know what you guys think. These are not available right now. They do have budget versions with D2 Steel available on their website. It'll be linked below. I think they go for 56 bucks. So I don't think that would be too bad. I've not felt it yet, but judging by some of their budget knives I've tried out in the past, just looking at the materials and everything, I think it would be a pretty solid bet. I really like the design. I like the blade shape and everything. So pretty cool knife. Thank you very much, Gareth HB, Pickled Steel, Kelly's Mishmash. Thank you all for allowing me in the pass round and to check this one out. And again, they'll be linked below if you're interested. Appreciate you guys watching. Remember, whether it's morning, evening, noon, or night, probably early morning right now in South Africa. I don't know. They're like 7 hours ahead or something. Y'all stay sharp. Later.